Hey, hey, what you say on this beautiful day? I am the one, the only Robert Edward Patterson II, aka Bobby Pats, aka Mr. P from the 313, but you can call me Bobby Belafonte sometimes.
I'm Adrian Black, and this is the Pass
Pass
the
the Bag
Bag podcast.
because it's not enough just for you to get the bag.
You got to know how to keep the bag.
If you want to keep that bag secure,
You got to share the bag. Now, kindly pass the bag. And we got officially our first sponsor
okay?
brought to you. It's an awesome band. Check them out on iTunes. Their name is Colin Fields.
Colin Fields.
Indeed, Colin Fields.
Hey.
And on August 23rd, a whole live house in Shenzhen, they're going to have their show. They're touring all summer. So if you get a chance to check them out, please do. And they also rep in Richmond, Virginia, which is, you got to get that MIVA, that VA love in there.
And that's a lovely venue too for those of you who are out here in Shenzhen. It's the KK1 joint. So that's real nice right there. Easy to find.
So check that out. Again, it's August 23rd, whole live house, Shenzhen, Colin Fields. Check them out on iTunes. Check them out on Bandcamp. They're everywhere.
That's right. Yeah, get a show up before they blow up. You don't want to be on the bandwagon.
Right. You don't want to be on the bandwagon. You want to be in the bag. You don't want to be following.
That's right. So we're gonna start out today with this baggage claim situation right here. Just some people it's easier to move forward with less baggage, and some people they just do relationships differently. They're going into situations, and what we want to talk about is this situation, this barefaced cheating situation. Women being better at hiding infidelity than men. What you think about that, Mr. Black?
All right, so the article says you can't hide your lying eyes. Scientists have revealed that women can judge whether a man is likely to be unfaithful just by looking at his face, but men are less able to spot a cheating woman. Researchers at the University of Western Australia took a group of 1,500 people and showed them pictures of 189 Caucasian adults, 101 men, 88 women, and having first asked them if they had been unfaithful to their partners. Respondents were then asked to rank these faces on a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is not at all likely to be unfaithful and 10 is extremely likely to play the field. The result, published in this journal of Royal Society of Open Science, was that both men and women were accurate in assessing men's, but not women's likelihood to cheat and poach.
Standing no chance is the moral of the story. Right. If she wants to do what she's gonna do, then you probably stand no chance unless you were born with that innate sixth sense to just be able to know what it is that's happening. So for those of you out there who feel some sort of way about your radar for being able to detect what your lady is up to, you might want to humble yourself.
Right.
That's what I'm getting from this science right here.
So what makes women suspect men might sleep around? According to the survey, it mainly boils down to perceived masculinity. Although the researchers came up with another unexpected result, suggesting it's not about the best looking men that play away the most. Surprisingly, even though more attractive men were rated as more unfaithful, they were less likely to engage in actual mate poaching, the study said.
And how are we defining mate poaching?
So I would say, I guess poaching is like you're trying to take somebody's, Mr. Steal Girl. Shout out to Trey Songz.
You know, we call that in the streets.
What's that?
Of course, that's called knocking. Knock.
Knock.
Absolutely. That's going at somebody's stable. That's knocking your main chick, as they say.
Right.
Yeah.
So if we are rely solely on our first impressions to detect cheaters or poachers, then we will make substantial errors, is what it says. So what do you think? What do you think about this?
So part of this I have a problem with because I think that there's a certain cultural rigidity that these what do we call it? Research lenses get put through.
Right.
And just taking cultural things into account is sort of like, common sense is not common. I don't want to offend, but I'm going to say this in the most offensive way possible. And the most offensive way possible to say this is that I feel like in different communities and different cultures, this is common sense for some people.
Right.
You have to, if you want to know if you can trust somebody, then you need to test them on different levels and different waters.
In what way?
Let's say, for example, that if you want to test somebody's loyalty, then you want to set up situations that are low-stakes situations where a person's loyalty is tested. Give them some temptation. put something out in front of them, see how they respond if a little bit of pressure is put on. If you have a lady and you want to see where her propensity for jealousy is and you're just getting to know her, take her around a place where you feel like other women's femininity is portrayed in a way that may threaten her if she's a less secure individual.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially if you can see that if you ask her directly that she might be prone to tell you anything to satisfy you, or to depending on what kind of background she's from, if she really values having you in her life like that. Or, this could be for the ladies too, ladies with ladies or men with men.
Right.
There's all types of ways that you can test these things. I feel like it's...
And there's also like the element of like bring around the homies.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Like with your shorty, if she's new, like number one females, if you haven't met the homies yet, that's a big sign. So it's like if he claims you, if he wants you in his life, he's definitely going to introduce you to his friends. And if you haven't met the homies, that says something. I mean, maybe you just don't have that type of relationship, right? Maybe you have a relationship where it's more like you guys have a limited amount of time with each other. Yeah. You're not growing in that way. Like, you're not trying to title each other up. You're not trying to claim each other.
Also, if you want her to meet the homies and she doesn't want to meet the homies, that might be another flag for you, depending on what your relationship goals are.
Right.
And just in terms of that infidelity type situation, I feel like, okay, all right, ladies, for those of you gentlemen out there who, gentlemen, even just males who are not gentlemen, you listening to this, if you were one of those people who you ever debated that there's just absolutely no question and there's certain ways that women are smarter than men, we need you to get with the program.
Right.
This kind of science just should be smashing whatever you thought about that situation right now.
I mean, when it comes to relationships and just being more emotionally aware, I would say women, understand that in a totally different way than men do.
Agreed. So moving on, basically, we have a little thing that we like to do here. We want you people to know about. Shout out to Erykah Badu.
Indeed.
There's a whole lot of bag ladies out there in the
bag
world.
Ladies.
That's right.
Gonna hurt your bag.
That's right. We want to talk about this bag lady here. And it might not be the bag lady. It could be the guy in the situation.
And this is an adult topic right here.
Yeah, absolutely. So
an adult topic. So kids, maybe close your ears. Wait a few years before you listen to this pod.
Man tries to sue ex-girlfriend for breaking his penis during breakup sex.
So a man in Taiwan barged into a police station like, "Yo, what up?" And he reported that his ex-girlfriend tried to break his penis. The man, identified as Wang, claimed that he and his ex-girlfriend had agreed to have sex before parting ways, also known as breakup sex, which is a whole different topic that we need to discuss anyway. However, Wang alleged that his ex-girlfriend deliberately planned to injure his genitals. Police then explained that charges can only be pressed if his claims were caught on video.
Deliberately.
Wang, who lives in Tainan City, said that he had enough of his ex-girlfriend's controlling attitude for apparent lack of evidence. It seems he will not be able to sue her after all. Some speculated Wang's case to be a penile fracture, which happens when an erect penis is bent forcefully, resulting in a rupture in the lining of one or two cylindrical tissues.
Hurts just to hear.
In the penis, according to the Mayo Clinic. While rare, the condition often results as an accident during copulation. Or copulation, I can't read.
It's okay. As long as people out there know what that is. And the kids don't, just in case the kids didn't plug their ears. So, unless one of them dictionary reading kids.
So maybe he said that Wong said now that his penis looks like a swollen saxophone.
That's a pickup line. That's a good pickup line right there,
Hey, my penis looks like a swollen saxophone, right?
Hey, how do you feel about reed instruments? Because I've got one right here. This to me is, it's the stuff that dreams are made of, and nightmares are dreams as well.
Right.
How do you make the decision? What kind of soul journey is a person on? And I've been there before, only once. My first and maybe one of my greatest loves ever. She and I, we at one point broke up once and then got back together. And who knows if the breakup sex was part of us getting back together, but I have nothing but that experience to go from. It probably was.
Right.
She was a fantastic lover. We did really wonderful together, but I can remember her saying, hey, okay, well, if we're going to get off of the train, let's make sure that we go ahead and send that thing down the tracks one more time. But to say that, hey, we're breaking up. Oh, I broke my penis. Oh, you sat around and thought to yourself, or you instantly came up with this idea. Okay, no, if I can't have you, nobody can have you. I'm gonna break that thing. What is this? What is this?
I mean, just the idea of it hurts. You know, like, I mean, that already has to be some pretty rough loving in order to be like ruptured, dang near ruptured.
And in a way, I feel almost like how people who are dope addicts in the streets, when they hear about the dope that kills somebody, they want to run out and go to get that dope.
Right.
Because part of me is like, well, if she did plan that on purpose and she somehow pulled that off of her anatomy, then like whoever meets this woman next and gets intimate with her is probably in for a really good time.
So what? Going back to initial breakup sex.
Breakup sex. Is this something you've experienced? Breakup sex?
Nah, because
Okay.
like for me, it's like if it's over, it's over.
If it's over, it's over.
I mean, makeup sex for sure. Right?
Okay.
You know,
See, I don't know nothing about that, but I do know about breakup sex.
Well,
It's
makeup
funny.
sex is like, you know, you had your beef, you had your argument, and now you're fixing. It's fixing.
Like I saw it in Baby Boy.
You're fixing it,
That's
right?
like the famous,
exactly the famous,
theatrical portrayal
Right.
of breakup to makeup.
right. Exactly.
That for me was always too much drama. But tell me about it.
So with makeup sex, it's like you have a beef with your lady or your guy.
All right.
And then you're fixing it, and in the
Alright.
process of fixing it, you have sexual healing.
Alright.
You know, Marvin, big shots to Marvin Gaye. You know,
Holla.
the whole concept of sexual healing.
Hey.
So you heal yourself sexually, you heal your relationship by being intimate with
Well, sounds like this guy needs some sexual healing.
now he does, for sure. If he didn't need it before, he definitely does now.
He's gonna be the king of the saxophone solo in a second. Hopefully.
Oh my God.
Okay. So, hey, Mr. Broken Saxophone, we just want you to know that we feel your pain out here. Not exactly in the same way that you feel pain, but we feel your pain out here, and we hope that you channel the spirit of John Coltrane and recover from whatever it is that you're going through right now. Moving on to the body bag.
Oh yeah, this is one of my favorites for today.
You know, for the body bag, this is all about situations that just absolutely killing the game. If you're out there laying it down, you know, laying down life, killing the game, just really, really getting in there. People like this teacher of the year who works with youth and juvenile detention places.
So there's this teacher. His name's Rodney Robinson. Shouts to Rodney Robinson.
Double R.
He's in Richmond, by the way, Richmond, Virginia, VA, 2 up, 2 down, where I'm from.
Yeah, what it said.
He started teaching, and 4 years later, he was chosen as the 2019 National Teacher of the Year for his dedication to helping disadvantaged students move beyond their mistakes. So what he says is, I give my kids empathy, not sympathy, and that's the key. What's the difference between empathy and sympathy for you? Like, what does that even mean?
So being one of those dictionary dorks, one of those kids, so what it is when you sympathize with somebody, that's like feeling sorry for them, but not necessarily emotively identifying with them, like putting yourself in that situation. When we empathize with an individual, we don't pity them.
Right.
What we do is we tune into them and we feel their pain. There's a certain amount of internalizing their pain that goes on, and we call that difference between empathy and sympathy. So, you know, versus looking down on somebody, oh, you know, poor thing, so sorry. But I'm not going through that. That's that sympathy joint, you know, versus that, you know what, when you hurt, I hurt. I'm going to let you know that I feel it.
I kind of found the definitions to be a little bit the opposite, though. I felt like sympathy is when, like, you take on the pain of others, right? Where you put yourself in their shoes.
Okay.
In essence, because you sympathize in the fact, and we can look this up, like what.
Hit that dictionary.com.
Yeah, we can look up the definitions of what each is. And then empathy is where you in essence trying to figure out how they feel, what their emotional experience is.
All right.
But you have the ability to separate their emotional experience from your own emotional experience.
Got it. You take sympathy, I take empathy. Dictionary.com.
All right,
Shout out to dictionary.com. Send them checks. Says the psychological identification with or vicarious experience of the feelings, thoughts, or attitudes of another.
Which one is that?
This is empathy.
All right.
And the second definition says the imaginative ascribing to an object as a natural object or work of art, feelings, or attitudes present in oneself.
So sympathy is feelings of pity and sorrow for someone else's misfortune. And the second definition is understanding between people, common feeling. And the third, the state of fact of responding in a way similar or responding or corresponding to an action elsewhere.
Okay.
So
they're
very close as far as like.
Yeah, they're too close.
I've just known from a counseling perspective, I've known that we want to empathize with people. We want to, in essence, try to understand their emotions. And I think that's where we find the common ground with empathy. It's where you try your best to understand what a person is experiencing. So as Teacher of the Year, Robinson will spend the next year traveling the country to advocate for students and teachers. He says he plans to focus on ensuring equity, which is something that's big for both of us.
Equity.
For all students and recruiting more Black and Hispanic men as teachers. Robinson is among just about 2% of teachers in the U.S. public schools who are Black men, and another 2% are Hispanic men. The education system, Robinson said, needs to look more like America. How many Black teachers have you had? Black male teachers?
Let's see.
As a Black male.
Mr. Thompson from Gompers Elementary in Detroit in the 4th grade. He was a math teacher. Can't forget him. High top fade, slacks, button up tie.
Nice.
He was always kind of fidgeting with his hands and things like that, but in a real cool type of way. Let's see. Black male teachers, right?
Yeah, I had Carlton Hemingway. Shouts to Mr. Hemingway, creative writing teacher, when I was like 6 or 7. This was in summer school. I didn't even have him actually in my regular schooling. This was in Upward Bound, like a college prep program that I was blessed to be a part of because, you know, for me, like I said last week in the first part, only one person in my family ever went to college.
All right.
And so Upward Bound was a way for me to see that, you know, college was possible. Okay. And that's one thing that Robinson talks about in the article is that in the detention center where he worked, they just basically changed the look of everything. They put up a timeline on the wall. It was basically white walls before. They put up a timeline and showed that like all these different people that they admired, like the things that they accomplished. They had pictures of President Barack Obama, former President Barack Obama, and Oprah Winfrey and other leaders. And also they put up like college banners and things to like have them know that where they are isn't necessarily their own.
They can be in it, but not of it.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, I really appreciate this, brother, and I also appreciate whoever is giving out this award. I don't know who gives this award out, but I think that that's really lovely. For those of us who are living in some type of time warp or haven't figured out that there's a heavy racial element to the United States, and that the educational systems reflect the institution that they're built upon, this is definitely important work. And, some work is more important than others. And for different communities, some work is more important in what he's going after and what he's doing, being part of that 2%. Astonishing number, by the way.
Right.
Astonishing.
2%.
2%.
I mean, I had a lot of diasporatic individuals that are female.
Shout out to the diasporatic peoples. Yeah, and the number is super slanted, though.
And there's something to be said about, because we get into this race, we're gonna get into this race thing. Both being African American diasporatic individuals, black men, whatever label you want to use. We'll get into it, but at the end of the day, whether a teacher is a good teacher or a bad teacher doesn't matter what they look like. However, there's something to be said about representation, right?
Sure.
And reflection.
Sure.
If you have someone there are studies that say, and you can look this up on your own time, but there are studies that say when we go into a room, first thing we do, we go into a room with people we don't know. We seek out people who are like us, and that might be socially, that might be people who have similar interests, and that might be just people who look like us. And why do we do that? Because I guess as humans, we're naturally
social.
Naturally social creatures, right?
I know who we're gonna bond with.
Who you gonna bond with? So, if you have a teacher that might have had a similar life experience as you, that teacher may be able to inspire you in a way that a teacher that doesn't necessarily look like you or come from a different culture will be able to do. Right?
I know that for me, that thing about how many have I had and me only being able to cite the brother who was Mr. Thompson then, but I believe his first name was Robert, comes on the heels of in my collegiate experience. I had one counselor who wasn't my teacher,
Mm-hmm.
And this is in Detroit, Wayne State University.
Right.
Hello, Wayne State. Hello, Detroit. And having that one brother, Mr. Thompson, who was later the counselor, who I always wondered if they were the same person, but I think that it would have been not enough years that would have passed by.
Right.
It was like...
That's crazy, by the way.
Yeah, they both had the same name, Robert Thompson.
Right. Oh, wow.
Absolutely. So
shouts out to Roberts.
Hey. So it's like that. It's like, I say, even just having one counselor, not just the presence of black males in the classroom, but just in the system in general, it's interesting. It's always worth to talk about. But this gentleman right here is definitely killing it. So let's go ahead and pass him some more body bags so he can keep killing the game.
Indeed, that's the body bag, man. He's killing the game.
Now, we do have a Bag It Up Beauty of the Week. Right now, there's a woman who is working diligently to solve Lagos's waste problem. Big shout out to Nigeria and all the Nigerians. So why don't you tell us some more about what this woman is doing?
I'm going to butcher her name, but her name is Bilikis Adebiyi Abiola.
Abiola. Oh, and you said that last part, right? I know somebody whose name is Abiola.
All right, nice.
Yeah.
Her mother was an engineer, and she led teams in Nigeria that are part of the now closed telephone utility company.
Okay.
And she was always inspired by her mom, who was a go-getter, and now they're leading the push to rid Lagos of its mammoth heaps of waste by introducing new initiatives to complement the old ways. Lagos, Nigeria's former administrative capital and current commercial capital, is home to an estimated 18 million people. And this figure might double by the year 2050. So,
dang.
Today only right. So people in Lagos are definitely reproducing.
It's gonna be a lot of garbage, a lot of diapers.
Right. It currently churns out about 10,000 tons of waste daily, and today only 40% of the daily waste is collected by the government. So she's working with the government. She has a WeCyclers offers cash incentives to residents of low-income neighborhoods in Lagos. Her staff who trawl around on tricycles. So, I mean, she's really working grassroots. She's working in the hood. She's trying to do something about the waste problem. And she's a lovely female, beautiful mind, and she's the Bag It Up Beauty of the Week. She's killing the game right now.
Let's go ahead and support Sister Abiola and make sure that she keeps bagging it up. I'm gonna keep it localized right now. We got a brother out here in Shenzhen by the name of David from Canada. He knows who he is, doing his situation, pushing his situation, this Be Greeny thing. So we're going to go ahead and sponsor Be Greeny and shout them out.
Yeah.
Because I know that part of what they do is they have a whole waste management system that they want to partner up with governments and take that technology and get that into places like Lagos in Nigeria for situations like this, similar situations going on in nearby Sierra Leone, Ghana, and these African nations that are still experiencing these type of situations with development, population. A big shout out to Sister Abiola for doing that beautiful work. I've seen the documentaries of these heaps of garbage in these different African nations in these different places, and they end up becoming like these, like zones of garbage. It's like really strange wasteland, post-apocalyptic people roaming around with huffing glue and gangs of just crazy type of stuff that I'm sure that one day I'll need to see to believe, see with my own eyes. I feel like that's important. So this sister is really up to some wonderful stuff, and I'm just hoping that Bob Marley, the late great poet Bob Marley, said it best. You can fool some people sometimes.
Can't fool all the people all the time.
But you can't fool all the people all the time, and I understand that there's a lot of people out there who are used to the old ways, imperialism, neo-imperialism, but look, change is one of the only things that is consistent. That's right. So the continental African nations and all the rest of that, if you're one of those people who you're used to these economic agendas where you're taking more from them than you're giving back, and I'm not going to name any names, but I will say this. Right. It ain't going to last forever.
Facts.
when they get their stuff right, you might want to be on the right part of history because there's a lot of people in Africa, and they will come up.
And man, I saw another piece of crazy African news this week, but one of the first African Amazon went public this week, Jamo.
Okay.
And so the stock went public this week, and that's gonna kill it. So look out for more stuff on that. We'll hopefully come back to this topic more and more in the future about investment and about, the growth of the continent.
I know a brother that I want to get in here who was taking plans and taking all types of measures to move his lovely wife and his son over to sub-Saharan continental Africa so that he can be one of these brothers who is really on the crest of that type of a situation. A wonderful brother by the way of Philadelphia, and so yeah, I'm happy that we're out here making these moves. Let's go ahead and move on. We got this bag of tricks.
Bag of tricks, and this next segment for the day. So what's the bag of tricks? What is that all about? What is this segment about?
There's so many tricks in the world, and different animals in the jungle, and all of us are humans, and we might have a different animal spirit that we identify with, but there's a lot of animals out there that they deploy deception.
Right.
We have chameleons.
Right.
We have boa constrictors. Right. Blend in and look like a tree branch sometime right before they snatch you up. Right. There's all types of situations in life that are tricky situations. Okay. And it's important for us to go ahead and examine those tricky situations so that we can help people to solve problems before they start, and help people to be able to fix problems that they might be in and fortify those things for good. And one of these bag of tricks that I feel like I just got to say, this one is super commonplace.
Right.
We got to mind our language.
Right.
People say something all the time, but they mean another thing.
What is that?
They say, Adrian, Brother Black, I need to lose some weight. But what they really mean is that they want to burn some fat.
Right. And
then what ends up happening, they just get tricked. They end up in a whole routine that's not the right routine for them to be in. We have some science and some evidence to back this up.
Exactly. So, personal trainer Max Weber, he wrote an article. He submitted an article to Cosmo. And he said, while your weight is a good benchmark for progress, it's very imperfect. The reason for this is because the number on the scale, our weight, fluctuates all the time. Daily, hourly, even by the minute.
Wait, when does it fluctuate according to the gentleman?
Daily, hourly, even by the minute.
Wow.
So that means if you're only monitoring your weight, you're likely not to see the full picture.
One moment. Let's pump the brake. Fluctuate. That might be a big word for someone.
Fluctuate. Change.
So our weight can change by the minute, by the hour.
So if you
daily.
Imagine you step on a scale before you have a meal,
right?
And you step on the scale after you have a meal, you're
right.
gonna see different numbers. The big homie LeBron, they said his weight changed 9 pounds in a day. He gained 9 pounds in a day.
It was probably money in his pocket.
Right. Facts.
We're learning that trick, Sir James.
So if you weigh yourself at the beginning of the day and then again at the end of the day, there could be several pounds in difference. But this doesn't mean you've actively put on all that weight and fat throughout the day. It's water weight, which causes your body weight to fluctuate so intermittently. So Max Weber points out great ways to actually do this.
Let's talk about
it. To keep up with the fat, right?
Let's build with the brother Weber.
So the brother says the best ways to access your progress include measurements. So measuring, like using a tape measure, right. Measuring your waist, measuring, like different things, measuring the circumference of your arms, your legs. Progress pictures.
All right.
Always take before and after pictures, especially if you start a workout plan or diet plan. Always take before.
All right.
How you look and feel. And there's something to be said about how you feel, right?
Word.
Feel good, look good, feel good, right?
Word. Absolutely.
Your performance and your energy. Are you feeling more tired? Are you gonna have more energy? Do you feel more alive? Or do you feel more drowsy and drained? Confidence.
I like this guy already.
I love this guy. He's great.
A diversified portfolio is a stable portfolio. For those of
Exactly.
you out here who don't follow that situation, there's so many ways for you to be able to monitor this situation instead of just stepping on the scale daily, sometimes multiple times a day.
And I fall into that. Like, I step on the scale every day. Every time I go to the gym, I get on the
See,
scale.
I never step on the scale.
Right.
I just
always
don't
get on
do
the
it.
scale. I always get on the scale.
That's crazy right there.
And for me,
Which is good because that shows people that there's variations. You and I are both inside of the lifestyle. He steps at the scale every day. I never look at the scale.
Right.
Just to let people know there's multiple ways to do it.
for me, because my diet, I like to see the fluctuation. Like, especially like if I have a cheat day or if I drink the night before. I want to see
You want to see what's up.
how it affected me. Like,
That's right.
how much it affected me.
Okay.
And whether or not I'm burning weight again, or I'm burning fat. So, and the last thing is how your clothes fit. So he talks about confidence. He talks about how your clothes fit. So that's a great determinant of where you are, whether or not you're burning fat. And you just talked about us both being in the lifestyle and the culture of losing weight and losing fat, and burning fat. See,
Right,
I'm just
right.
I'm just so used to saying losing weight.
Absolutely. It's excuse me. How normal is it?
Right.
I think it's one of those things that's so normal that for the average person, even if they hear it or even if they check out Brother Weber's research, it's coming at them from so many different angles that it can be difficult for them to suspend disbelief that the thing that they've been doing that is normal for so long, which is referring to this phenomenon of wanting to change their body in a certain way. Specifically, people want to beat fat back or whatever for whatever reason. But most of the time, where I take exception is so many times these reasons are not their own reasons.
Right.
They're not their own reasons. So people are saying, especially women, constantly being assaulted about their image by all of the stuff that's reinforcing the fact that they're not good enough the way that they are or whatever. Constantly coming up against other women who are judging them. And that for me is just incredible to see how commonplace that is. And this is one of those things that it won't be the last time that we talk about. It's one of my personal flames that I'm carrying out there. People say that they want to lose weight, but what they really mean is they either want to change their body in some sort of specific way and that they want to burn fat. And if you want specific results, you got to use specific language. Not enough for you to say you want to get out there and lose some weight. Because if you want the quickest way to lose weight is to lose muscle.
Right.
Muscle weighs 1 unit of muscle equals 5 units of fat. It's 5.
Is that facts?
The density from everything that I've seen.
Okay.
I've seen that 1 unit of like 5 nickels equals 1 pound of fat. 1 nickel equals 1 pound of muscle. That's what I've seen. So fat looks like it's a lot more going on than it is.
Right.
Yeah.
And so what you said some things off camera that you kind of wanted to address. Well, we could address on camera, which is the fitness industry and how they use the idea of losing weight for profit.
Anyone who's listening to this, or you and I both, we could go and we could see so many people talking this weight loss program or lose weight, or they got to wait for you to lose weight. And people who are supposed to know the difference. We're talking nutritionalists, we're talking personal trainers, we're talking people making videos. And if we go through their whole catalog, how long is it going to take us before they get into the science of, you know what, muscle weighs more than fat. The quickest way to actually lose weight is to lose muscle, but you want to burn fat, and burning fat and losing weight are 2 different things.
Right.
So you need to program, you need to learn the specifics, learn how your body works. How many of these people are doing that? Instead, what they're doing is, I believe, that they're being predatory and they're making money off of people's failures.
And to piggyback off that, I feel like even worse industry is the pharmaceutical industry.
Speak on it.
Who's like selling pills or selling like different products.
Weight loss pills.
And it's
Oh
like,
my goodness.
There's no weight loss pill.
Oh my goodness.
There's not one that's for real.
Right.
You know, like I used to take hydroxycut when I was in college the first time I lost weight, and I felt like maybe it was working. However,
once your body get used to it,
you know, it's like that's anything. Your body, you
tolerance.
Have, you know, muscle confusion, which is why I'm so into like the Beachbody fitness programs, because they confuse your muscles. After 2 weeks, you do something. Next 2 weeks, you're gonna do something completely different. It'll switch you up, and it confuses your body, confuses your muscles in order for you to burn more fat, which is the goal. So another thing that we were talking about is why some other skills on if you really want to lose weight, you really want to like burn fat. You want to get in the best shape of your life.
Well, what else is in the bag of tricks?
What's
then?
else in the bag of tricks? Having a fitness buddy.
Having a what?
The fitness buddy. So shout out to the Super Friends, real quick.
Super Friends, we in
Super
here.
Friends. That's Bobby Pass, that's Adrian Black, and that's Mr. Justin Leventhal from New York. Shouts to him.
Salute.
We have a group called Super Friends, and what do? What's the Super Friends?
Super Friends is a situation where we not only support each other, or we make sure that we're supporting ourselves first. All three of us have our own fitness culture independent of one another. And we make it a point to get together at least once a week and to combine our fitness culture. And right now we're currently in the middle of not just continuing that situation, we have incentivized one another, whereby which on the 21st.
Fitness challenge.
On the 21st.
On the 21st.
3 judges.
Yep.
Non-biased judges will come together and they will judge us based on our aesthetic appeal, we could say. And so this Super Friends thing is about culture, because he has his culture, I have my culture. You're working out how many times a week?
Every day.
I'm working out somewhere between, I do, oh my God, I'm hiking 2 meters up a hill 3 times a week on average, doing 40 minutes jump rope, doing all types of other things, maybe 10 workouts in a week that I might do. So
nice.
We're combining our culture. We have Super Friends.
I mean, for
challenge.
Somebody that's just starting out, that sounds like a lot, right?
Might sound like a lot.
So here are some basic tips from that'll help you, is why having a fitness partner, why creating a group, creating a culture is important. Number one,
break the bag down.
You enjoy your workout more. In a study of 107 adults out of USC, those who worked out with friends, spouse or coworker said they enjoyed the exercise more than those who worked out solo. So find a partner, find a friend, work out. Number two, you'll be less likely to get injured. When you have the workout buddy, should be able to quickly help you check your form and tell you when your back is sagging during your plank or if you're leaning forward too much while you're squatting. So that's one thing we do with each other all the time. We checking each other's form. Number three, there's 8 reasons. Number three, you'll feel less stressed. And people who exercise on a stationary bike for 30 minutes with a friend, so they felt calmer after the workout than those who cycled alone. And that was a study in the International Journal of Stress Management. Number 4, you'll push yourself harder. And this is something I think that's really big point. Is that like when we're doing our circuits, our workouts together, I look over at you and you like pushing yourself, I want to push myself a lot harder. Same thing with I work out with my wife. Shouts to my wife, Ms. Beatriz Abel-Torre, and shouts to her. And when I work out with her, she's always killing it. She never gives less than 100%. She's always pushing us 100%. You know, almost to a fault. I'm like, babe, slow down. But you'll work out harder. You push yourself. Number 5, you'll quit quitting. You'll quit quitting. So that's that. There's that accountability piece.
Absolutely.
Which is, if you got a goal, tell somebody your goal. If
so understated.
Tell somebody your goal.
Right.
Talk. Communicate.
Also, I want to say this for the accountability piece. You know, once it was told to me, and I can't remember who said it, that a goal without a timeline is nothing but a dream.
Right.
So, you know, that type of accountability is wonderful when it's cultural. And then they got that other saying out there, well, what is it? You're the sum total of 10 people who you share the most time with. Yeah, the 5 people you share the most time with. So it's great for you to be able to make sure that, especially if you have those fitness goals, if you have fitness goals, you really want to make serious gains, you want to make serious progress, make sure that 3 of the 10 people who you're around the most are in the same lifestyle as you are on the fitness tip.
Facts.
I mean, how can you know, you can do nothing but win at that point.
Number 6, you'll meet your goals faster. This goes along with the 2 previous points. When you're being consistent and pushing yourself harder, your performance will improve faster than when you're only attending the gym sporadically and slacking off when you do manage to get there. All right, number 7, which is this one's big. You'll have more sex. Hey. This one's only true if your workout partner is also your sexual partner. So the physical symptoms you experience after working out, flushed skin, faster heart rate, adrenaline rush, actually mimic the effects of arousal. That might help explain why studies show that men and women feel more attracted to each other after doing an adrenaline pumping work activity together. So if this is like a second or third date.
What is it?
Second or third date, right?
Say it.
And you might be trying to take your relationship to a more physical level.
All right.
then maybe a workout date. I remember my wife and I's second or third date was yoga.
Very wise.
And it was after yoga where we had our first kiss.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So I'm a direct result of this.
You want to move the situation into escalation, go ahead, work out together.
Right. And number 8, you'll break out of your rut. When you sweat solo, it's all too easy to fall back on the same old. But that's an easy way to fall into a fitness plateau, which plateaus are the worst. A friend might have suggestions for switching up your routine, which we do all the time, that you wouldn't think of alone, and that will help keep things interesting and challenging for your muscles. So, man, if you're serious about burning fat, losing weight, great ways to find a workout buddy is joining a league, joining a team. There are people that have groups that work out in the parks. Meetup.com. There's so many different ways to work out. Joining a kung fu class, joining a yoga class, acro yoga. You do acro yoga, or you've done it in the past. I have a kung fu class. Get inspired on Meetup. If you're in places where like Europe or America, you can use Groupon, which is a great way to save money. And need to be sending us checks, by the way. Living Social and Groupon, but it's a great way to get into like trapeze or stuff. Try stuff you've never tried before. Horseback riding.
That's right.
I had a horseback riding class for Groupon.
How'd that go?
Crazy. It hurt. I was surprised at how much riding horses.
Yeah, it's been a while, but I do know that it hurts. We got another bag of tricks out here that we want to talk about. This is dealing with the science of attraction. What's the article say, Mr. Blank?
This article I pulled up, but let me try to find it.
No worries. This is one of these things that we're very passionate about here. Is not only what we call health in terms of individual health, but also social health. And when we're not creating our podcast, we have many ongoing conversational threads about social health, and in particular, I'm passionate about what I've been experiencing in my own personal life, which is the difference between the things that I've been raised or sort of programmed or indoctrinated into feeling like I'm supposed to be excited by or turned on by or attracted to, and the reality of the situation. Like I find myself in a situation where the reality and what I've been sold, or maybe what's in my mind, is different than what's happening in my loins.
So there's a study that says on average, women's satisfaction with their partner's actual height was greatest when he was 21 centimeters taller than themselves. Conversely, men's satisfaction was greatest with the woman who was 8 centimeters shorter than them. Not only do women want taller men, they seem to favor a bigger height difference than men. So it says, scientific research confirms that heterosexual women tend to prefer partners who are taller than them.
How about that?
And so we're both kind of like
average
height challenged, in some ways. I would say average height, men.
In the States, anyway.
In the States,
we're
it depends
average
on
height. I'm
where
5'9" inches.
Right, so same.
Not getting any taller anytime soon.
Not at all.
Yeah.
So, what role do you feel height plays in attraction, and how do you feel? What does attraction mean to you?
The situation with our physical bodies, the physical bodies that we find ourselves in, really came to me the other night because I went to a promotion that I haven't been at in something like over a year, and it's mostly a promotion where people are cruising for people to link up with there and find new partners to go ahead and have fun, and maybe
was it like speed dating?
No, it's what we call a ladies' night at a place. Absolutely. And a lot of people there, they want to get together with somebody and celebrate sexuality together or whatever, what have you. And when I found myself looking around, I looked around at this situation. It was a lot of tall guys in the place. It was like a lot of tall guys in the place. Like the average guy in the place, I would say, was a couple inches taller than me, right? Mm-hmm. There was a lot of big tall dudes, and as I looked around and I saw that, I said to myself, okay, this reflects a certain reality. It reflects a reality I got I have to face every day, even though facing it for me isn't necessarily hard. I'm not gonna get into all my personal business. But I know that.
No, tell us everything.
Well, I mean, basically, I do all right. Let's just put it that way. Right. And I've done all right for a long time. I'm doing all right now. And if the people who were at the promotion probably knew about my personal life, they might want to stop what they're doing, going to the ladies' night, chasing ladies, and probably listen more to me. I'll say it like that. That height thing is cool. I mean, I even watched a YouTube video where a guy was asking ladies would they rather take a guy who was significantly shorter than them and well endowed, or would they rather take a guy who was tall, very tall, and less well endowed. And all of the ladies that the guy was interviewing said that they would rather take the very tall guy who was less well endowed.
So what do you think that is? I have some hypotheses.
I feel like part of it is in the reptilian brain or something like that. Women with what we know about the way estrogen works and that need for security and that sort of instinctual thing for a protector and all the rest of that. Look at these tall guys and they figure that, if and when a guy is tall like that, then challenges will be easier to stave off. And also something to do with these like reproductive genetics, as if you're carrying the child of a person who is larger, then in some way, if and when something should happen to that guy, maybe your child will grow up to be your protector, or I don't know, things that I can't understand.
Yeah, I think that's the security piece, right? That's said that a bigger individual will be able to protect you, better than someone who's smaller.
Yeah,
and I think it almost seems like it's innate, It's
sure.
Not, so attraction, there is the innate attraction, and there I actually saw recently that somewhere here it's coming up. They're having a pheromones party.
Oh, okay.
Where you're supposed to sleep.
Let's look into that. Let's get
the
into
idea
Let's
that
go to that party.
The idea of that is right. You sleep in the shirt for 3 nights straight.
And then you take that
and
shirt.
Then you put the shirt in a bag.
That's right.
And then people
right.
are going and then you blindfolded. And
I can't wait. You gotta go.
Whatever. I gotta go.
You at least have to go if I don't go, or if we don't go.
Well,
together.
You gotta go because I'm married, so
they can check you. You probably gonna smell better because you're sleeping next to a woman.
Right. So of course.
Hey yo.
Of course. But so that's the idea. It's like you can be attracted to smells. Like for something like when my wife, for example, she just finished sweating. She's like, oh, I got to shower. I'm like, no,
sure,
please don't.
Right,
I love it. And then it's the same thing with me. I'm like, man, I'm funky today. She's like, oh, I love it.
That's right. That's beautiful.
I mean, there's that innate, attraction that goes beyond what we look at all the time, and we get so wrapped up talking about why we still in the bag of tricks, right? Mm-hmm. We get so wrapped up in what we look like, and trying to portray a certain image, where at the end of the day, attraction is a lot more than what the clothes you wear.
Speak on it.
The attraction is a lot more. I mean, confidence plays a role in attraction. Like your physical build plays a role in attraction. Your smell, and there's the.
I would like to say this: if the late great Prince would find himself in a room with these same gentlemen that I was in the room with the other night when I went to this promotion, I would absolutely love to see it, because I feel like the giants would fall. Prince Rogers Nelson, who was a humble 5'2", or something like that. If he was 5'2", 5'4", something like this, no taller than 5'4" for sure, and was an absolute giant slayer.
Right.
So for me, it's interesting to see that, because I think that a lot of that is like, oh, these women initially, they'll look at these tall guys, and I wonder what happens. I would love to hear actually from a woman. We could get a woman here and continue this conversation another time.
For sure.
But what happens when you sit down with a guy who he's not as tall or whatever, but you can feel the energy that radiates from him is as good as 10 tall dudes.
Right.
Yeah, I would like.
So we're going to continue to expand these conversations. We're going to continue to build the podcast.
First, we got to go back to the future.
Right.
Back to the future.
Nah, we're going to have to save that for next time.
Oh, we're going to save it for next time. We're going to get in the speed bag?
We're going to have to save it for next time. Let's go through the speed bag real quick. Why some workouts make you feel like throwing up? What do you think?
I don't even want to get into that right now.
All right. A Chinese man kills employee for demanding outstanding pay.
I feel like this should read not a Chinese man, but just a very sad man, kills an employee for demanding outstanding pay. What is that about?
Basically, the guy came back to him. He was like, "Man, I want my money." And the dude was like, "Nah."
Is this a mental health conversation?
It seems like it. All right.
Yeah.
Depression. Speaking of mental health, okay, next on the speed bag. Depression affects nearly 30% of Chinese youth.
Pay attention.
Pay attention. The depression is real. Why kindness matters. So, altruism, kindness is important. There are 5. We're gonna leave you with these 5 notes. Kindness can accelerate the healing process. So if you're trying to heal, being kind to other people can accelerate that.
All right.
Number 2, kindness can help prevent disease. Having positive interactions with others can help fight disease.
All right.
And that's from the UNC. Altruism, which is being kind, it stimulates the reward area in our brains. So when you're kind, it's like you're giving a gift to yourself. You know, your body accepts it as a reward. Number 4, kind couples are more likely to go the distance. So
That's great news.
Right. And number 5, kindness is a blind spot in public policy. So some governments are using altruism now to address issues like homelessness, to address issues like addiction, and address issues like post-traumatic stress disorder. So it's important to find ways to be kind in your daily life, and that's what Pass the Bag's all about.
I can feel the kindness thing. I'm gonna say this in the most potentially offensive way possible. I feel that for some people, being kind for them is like a muscle that they haven't exercised in so long. And when they start to do it, you're gonna know what kind of heart that they have. Right. It's gonna hurt so bad, and are they gonna keep it up? And do they have the proper incentivization? The kindness thing is really says a lot about where certain communities are as a whole. Maybe it shouldn't really be that difficult, but China especially.
Right.
When I share time with these students, one of the things that I see is that when they're not kind to each other, this is when I become the most combative with them. It's not over, are you doing this work? Are you not doing this work? You're always free to go. If you don't want to do this work, you can get up, you can go, you can get up out of here for a while, and you can explain that to your teachers. It's fine. I'm not going to put any pressure on you. What happens? Sometimes you need a breath of fresh air. But if somebody has a problem and people are laughing about it, I understand that they're young people that are developing, but if we're going to laugh at the next person's problem, I'm raining fire and brimstone.
That kind?
Raining fire and brimstone? I feel like it's what we call negative reinforcement to get positive results. I might have messed that up. I know you did the psychology thing. Right. I feel like that's negative reinforcement.
Well, negative reinforcement is when you take something away. Positive reinforcement is when you give something. So it's actually positive reinforcement.
Positive reinforcement, but not because I'm adding something.
You're adding something.
Negative value. Yeah, I just let them know.
Right.
When somebody has problems, if you're eating and another person doesn't have food and that's funny to you, you got to share the space with me. I'm taking your food. Right? Like if this other person over here is they need something on their back and you have something on your back, then you could share with them. What you should do is you should volunteer to take yours off. Now,
well, there's the word should, right?
This is me coming there and being there. I'm speaking a little bit emotively.
No,
all I know is that's something that I'm always fighting for. I'm fighting for these people to be kind to one another.
So kindness, altruism is an important piece, and we gotta go.
That's the speed bag.
And that's the speed bag.
Miva.
Indeed.
Miva.
It's our go. It's our time.
PTB Pod.
Right.
Bobby Pats.
Be on the lookout for the PTB Pod. Twitter.
Black.
Be on the lookout for the email coming up, because we want to hear from you guys. We want
Patreon.
Girls. We want you to be able to contribute to us, so be on the lookout for the Patreon. Be on the lookout for Colin Fields Tour, our first sponsor. And check them at Whole Live on August 23rd. It's Whole Live House, Colin Fields. They're on iTunes.
We're going to be everywhere.
Coming up soon, May 11th, you want to see art in action. Bobby Pat show with China. We're going to be there. Be there if you're in Shenzhen. If you're not in Shenzhen, you're in China. Come on down. It'll be worth it.
Check
May 11th, 9 o'clock.
We're going to drop some media for those of you who can't be here in person.
So, yeah. So check us out. Look for us on YouTube. Look for us on iTunes. We're here. It's the Pass the Bag Pod. Because it's not enough just to get the bag. You
got once you get that bag, you got to keep that bag.
You gotta keep the bag. And the only way you can keep that bag is if you
Gotta share that
the
bag.
Now, kindly pass the bag.
Kindly, that's important.